Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ronnie coming back with another video. Today, we're going to actually be doing a mock draft, and we're going to see who I think just the first round. Because I can't trade, I'll be making the verbal trades out loud. Um, but yeah, so I mean, first, I'd probably think that not even the Broncos, I think Vikings would trade probably this year's first, second, and probably this year's third, this year's first, next year's first, and a third round, possibly a little bit later for the first overall pick, but I can't make the trades. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pretend like I made that trade right there. So what I'm gonna say is like, because I don't think the Bears are gonna really want, like, yes, Caleb Williams is a generational talent, yes, but Justin Fields, I feel like they don't want to give up on Justin Fields right now, and they might getting that fourth overall pick for this first overall pick, knowing that you have a quarterback already, and you have a couple more years left with him. Because you can him to you can get him to the fifth year. You get next year. You get the 2024 and 2025 season with him. So I think that's gonna come up. But obviously, first overall is gonna be Caleb Williams. Second overall is Marvin Harrison for the Bears. Bears need another receiver, and I feel like he's just gonna be the better player for him. Now, what I will say is will they take Drake May? I don't know, because with this pick, I do think, because if they do take Drake May is a huge upside quarterback. He's going to sit a year behind. If the Broncos do draft him, he'll sit a year behind. What's it called? He'll sit a year behind Russell Wilson. But I think Drake May is probably the pick that they should make here. I mean, if they can get rid of him, because they can get rid of Russell Wilson, can opt out of his 2020 during 2026. You have him sit out you have Drake May sit out his rookie year. He's 21 years old. He's not that old. Some of the best quarterbacks we've seen in the past couple years have either sat out their first season. Brady sat out his first season. Patrick Mahomes sat out his first season. Lamar Jackson sat out a majority of his first season. Aaron Rodgers sat out his first 3 seasons. Look at him. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. That's why I think this is probably going to be the pick for him. Fourth, who I think, and this is the Bears now, I think that they're probably going to work beefing up their offensive line. They need to work on their offensive line, so taking a tackle would be a good pick. Now, I think quarterback's probably the best pick here, but you take a look at quarterbacks right now. You have Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Riley Leonard, J.J. McCarthy, Shedeur Sanders, Michael Pratt, Quinn Ewers. Such a deep class, but not a lot of first round talent. I don't think that Patriots are going to want to risk. If they have the 5th overall pick, they're not going to risk it on that. They're probably going to risk it on a generational talent, a guy who's considered to be better than Rob Gronkowski and Brock Bowers. Just an absolute stud. Giants right here. I really think they don't need to work on their edge. They have two of arguably the best young edge rushers in. And again, this is a little bit of a bias saying this, but Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeaux, I think that they're fine right there. Interiorly, I think they're pretty good. But what I do think is I think that they need to work on beefing up the offensive line and getting more. I think Joe Adell, is probably the best pick. Notre Dame's known for those big linemen and those good players. Cardinals, I don't know if they're gonna. I mean, right now with this pick, there's no top quarterbacks that are gonna come out nowhere. I mean, if I'm gonna say it, there's probably gonna be, like, if they're gonna do it, they're probably gonna wait till the 5th pick, because there's no one else here is really gonna be needing a quarterback. I mean, maybe them, but maybe the Raiders, but you never really know. So what I do think is that what they'll probably do is they'll probably take Malik Neighbors. They need a receiver. Yes, but they need a good receiver. They need a receiver that's going to be good, because there's not a lot of good guards, tackles. There's not a lot of positions that they need. Like, yeah, Kool-Aid, but Kool-Aid's not a huge position to need for them. I think they're probably going to take receiver right now. Packers, one thing that they're going to need to work on their interior defensive line, and I think Latu is going to be probably the best pick for them. They could probably move him into interior line, and he could definitely get to the quarterback a lot faster through that way. Because, I mean, getting him through up that middle, and if he's able to stay up the middle, and he's an edge rusher, so he's fast. So if he can get off the ball fast enough and be strong enough to get through, especially going in the same conference, Justin Fields, I feel like that's going to be the pickup to make right here. Raiders, they definitely don't need to work on their edge. What I think that they probably should do is actually take Kool-Aid right here. Kool-Aid's probably the best pickup for them. Probably one of the better pickups. And then Cardinals, since they lost out on Kool-Aid, Kalen King is probably the out of better pickup out of these two right here. Um, Now, what do the Jets need? It says that they only need a tackle, which yes, their offensive line is getting absolutely destroyed. I mean, Graham Burden's pretty good, and people are very skeptical on Alabama offensive linemen recently, with the fact that Evan Neal hasn't been playing up to standard. So, doing that is definitely something big. Um, Commanders, what I think would probably be the best is they don't really need a lot of like offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and that's really like what's been popping up recently. Linebackers, tackles, tight ends, like that's what they need. I think they're probably gonna go with offensive tackle, and they'll probably take Maury Mims. I feel like with Georgia being known as this strong, powerful upfront team, having to go against that, having to go against such a dominant defense the past 2 years in scrimmages, maybe has made him a lot better as a player, and especially going against a lot of those players that the Eagles now have, it'll definitely help him out a lot on the offensive side. Okay, Titans. Well, I think the Titans are probably going to get. They're probably going to get Caden Coleman, probably the best, one of the best receivers in this class. Definitely has the potential. Um, Again, this isn't really a deep tight end class. Tackle, interior defensive line. I think going Chop Robinson right here is probably the best pickup for them. You can move him inside, like I said, edge defensive end. Yeah, sometimes that doesn't work out, but maybe working on trying to get moving one of the other guys. Rams, I think. I mean, if you want to go really good, you'd probably go Cooper DeJean. He's probably one of the better pickups right here. Gonna make it a lot better. Right here you got to go. Probably. I mean, the position of need right now is. I mean, I'm gonna say it's Jar Zahan Newton, from Illinois, probably the better player. Now, right here, this is gonna be a big pick. This might seem very, very, out of nowhere, but I think Akeem Ujaba, I can't really say his name, is probably gonna be taken. Yeah, I know it seems a little high for him, but if you take into consideration he played with CJ Stroud, so they know each other and they know their timing pretty well, I think that's gonna be a good pickup for them. Okay. I'm Saints, I think working on the defensive line, Leonard Taylor would be a good pickup. But again, another Jared Verse is such an athletic freak that he'll probably go here. The Falcons, I think Dallas Turner is a good pickup, but I feel like going quarterback isn't good. Receiver, I mean, you have such good depth. Yeah, Dallas Turner is probably the best pickup that you can make right here for them. Now, with the Colts, I think probably you don't want to go running back, especially just having re-signed Jonathan Taylor. You don't want to go running back because you don't want to take that. Okay, you now have Jonathan Taylor for 3 years. You have to have another running back sit behind him and waste a little bit of his career. That's not what you want. If you're a running back, you don't want to waste the start of their career. That's their prime. That's like really the start of their prime. So, I think going receiver, working like, yeah, you have Pittman, you have Pierce, but they're not they don't seem like number one receivers. I think let's look and see what other receivers are out there. Like Worthy's definitely one, but Romeo Oduzi has been having a phenomenal season this year in college football. Really playing lights out. Bills. I mean, I don't think they don't need a receiver. Yeah, they would a depth receiver with because you do have. I mean, Stephon Diggs is that one guy. But I mean, I think Leonard Taylor's probably the best pickup for them. He's part of that vicious Miami defensive line. Dallas, what I think probably, um, I think they're gonna go Chris Jenkins, beef up that defense, make that defense a lot better. Our defense does need to work a lot, and it needs to get a lot more physical. Now, Ravens, I think that they're gonna take Graham Kitchens because they could definitely move a lot of the other guys around, and he could play a lot better. Um, Now I'm gonna go J.C. Latham because they can move him to guard or center. They can move him to guard, giving him a lot easier time too, which is something good. Now, with Steelers, I think Charlie, because I really interior offensive line. There's a huge um departure in it, which is part of the issue. So I mean, linebackers, yeah, they're okay, but I think what they need to do is I mean taking Tyler Newman's probably the best pickup for them, best overall pickup. Again, you need a defensive back, you need guard, center. This isn't really a deep guard and center class coming out. This is more of a just skill wide class. So I think they take Nate Wiggins, corner, no, um, from Clemson. I think now here with the Bucks, taking a quarterback would be good. You have him sit a year, but Bo Nix is pretty old. I don't think that that's the smartest thing to do. I think maybe, but you don't really know because they might take Bo Nix, which would be a good pickup. But I mean, if you're gonna go quarterback here, I'd say go either Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy, or Quinn Ewers. I feel like they're the guys that have a lot of the talent. I really think that they probably would go Michael Penix. He's probably the best quarterback that you could develop right now. Lions, I mean, working on it, but their secondary really isn't there. I would think Josh Newman. Josh Newton's probably the best pickup for them. Uh, working, looking back at it, I mean, again, interior offensive line, you're probably going to have to take if they want to look at that. I mean, this isn't really a big tight end class, you know, not really the best for that. I mean, they don't really need receivers. They're such a good team receiving wise. I think maybe getting Mason Smith is probably the best thing for them. Eagles, I think getting possibly another receiver, you know, that's something maybe that they need. But other than that, like their defense is so good and so dominant that it's going to be really hard. They can look at the Chiefs. They're probably going to go Xavier Worthy. They need another receiver. Mahomes need a receiver. What 49ers need is they don't need they just need offensive line, and I feel like they can wait to get him to get offensive line. I think they can take Barrett Carter. I think working and building on that defense is probably what they want. Let's see what my grades are for this draft. Some of this might seem odd because again, see. Let me know how you guys think I did. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know how I did. Peace.